Hi everyone, my name is Maryann Hayes and I am an arts and crafts teacher at the Milford Senior Center. I chose this project today because I thought you might have the supplies at home that you need. The only supplies you will need is tacky glue. It's non-toxic, so this craft is good for little kids and big kids like me. Tacky glue, saran wrap or a plastic wrap, some kind of bowl that you could use that you're going to reuse this, and your finger. So first of all, we're going to cover the dish. We're going to make bowls out of pearls and out of sea glass. You can also make one out of yarn, shells. If you have shells, you can go collect shells on the beach. But we're going to do pearls today. So the first thing you have to do is select what size bowl, and I started with the small one. I'm going to cover this upside down with saran wrap and tuck it in so all sides are covered. The next step is you're going to take your tacky glue. You could use Elmer's glue too, but tacky glue works better. And you could use any type of adhesive, but this is non-toxic and it won't smell the house up. You could do this inside or out. And you just cover the entire surface and use as much glue as you like. When it dries clear. And I prefer to use my finger. Fingers are your best utensils, I think. You could use a brush so you don't get messy, but messy is kind of fun sometimes. So I'm gonna really load the glue on here. So all sides are completely covered. All the way to the very edge. I tried this with a lot of different things, as you can see. Shells, buttons, yarn. It works well with things that don't weigh a lot. I did do a sea glass bowl, which came out really pretty, I think, but the lighter the item you put on, the easier it stays. And I also learned, work your way from the bottom up. If you start on the top, and work your way down, the items slide down the glue. Okay, so I think I have enough glue on there. I'm just going to wipe this on the paper, and later on I'll wash my hands. So these are sold at Joann's or Michael's, any craft store, and it's just a strand of fake pearls. And I think they look kind of pretty here. I'm going to show you, before we start, I'm going to show you what this looks like. This is how it comes out. Okay, so I'll start with this. I'm going to start on the bottom. This does take a little bit of time, but it's kind of fun, and it's very easy. You don't have to worry about messing up. You don't have to worry about too much glue. It dries clear. It does take 3 to 4 days for it to dry. So that's why I have some finished projects to show you. You can cut, what I did with the yarn, I cut pieces and just kept going around and around. And it kind of adheres really easy. You don't have to worry about it at all. I don't know about you, but during this time, I am looking for so many projects to do to keep me busy. And this was a project that I started in March. I love to garden, but in March there's not much gardening going on. So I started this project, and this is a good indoor project. The glue, like I said, doesn't stink up the house. Everybody hopefully has white glue. And some kind of, the possibilities are endless on what you can use for this. That's why I figured everybody probably has yarn or buttons. Little white buttons would look really cute on this. I had a bunch of black buttons, bigger black buttons, so that's what I chose. And seashells. Remember though, the lighter weight of the shell, the easier it is to stick. I tried it with the big hunks, beautiful sea glass, blue sea glass, but it was so heavy that it kept sliding. Even when I started on the bottom, it kept sliding from the top to the bottom. This one kind of, you just wind it right up and it stays in place, and I found this to be the easiest. Now you figure, what am I going to do with these bowls when they're all done? Well, I thought it would be pretty to put on a dresser to put your jewelry in, or you could use a candle, either the flameless or the ones that you light. Lots of things. If you want one for your desk, maybe some paper clips. So you just keep winding, and what I do when I get to the end of it, I pull a bunch out and I cut it. If you don't want to use it from the container, you can just cut it strips and keep going around. And as you go, push it down with your fingers. See how it's adhering to the glue quite nicely? So anyhow, during this COVID time, I'm always looking for projects to keep me busy, and this keeps me out of trouble and really uses my time up wisely. How much can you watch TV? How much can you talk on the phone or read a book? It's very good, but you get so tired of doing the same thing over and over again. And this, you just got to keep going in circles all the way around. And what I do, I push it to the edges and keep cutting pieces. So you make a big circle. And do one more circle around. And then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. And because you have the glue on your fingers, it sticks. So just keep wiping your hands or rubbing them together, or get up and wash them. But I wait to the very end till I'm all done. Okay, so you're kind of just winding it and winding it till you get a circle, and at the end of it, it looks like this. Very pretty. And what has happened is this yellow bowl here covered in saran wrap, you had it in there, it was like this, you let it dry for 3 to 4 days until you see all the white kind of disappear. This one I did a couple of days ago, and there's still a little bit of white on the top, but you see what I used, these pretty gems? You can use those on the very bottom of it because they won't slide down. Once you try to put them here, they kind of slide because they're too heavy. You take your knife and go around the dish. First you pull the saran wrap up and go around the whole thing, all the way around until it pries loose, and then the dish pops right out and you have the saran wrap on here. Here's the pretty bowl, and then you have your dish to use for whatever. I think this was a dip dish at my house. But there's a lot of different things you can make. Here's the sea glass one. This I used the bigger bowl for, and you covered it with saran wrap again, placed it on there, put it upside down, and see I used the gems on the bottom and then started on the bottom and went all the way across, over and over, and you don't even have to overlap them because the glue fills in all the spaces, and you have a really pretty bowl, something that you really can't use for liquid, or you probably wouldn't want to use for food, but I like the way it looks with either a regular candle that you light or one that, you know, the flameless ones that have the batteries in them. And I thought that looks kind of pretty. You could also decorate with flowers inside for a table decoration. And so that's all there is to it. So I hope you enjoyed this craft and that you find something around the house that you use, that you can use. Here's the buttons, shells, beads. Here's yarn, which you could put one little votive in. All you're doing is covering the glass with saran wrap and loading it up with glue and wrapping. Just take whatever yarn you have and start on the bottom and go all the way around till you get to the top. Okay, thank you. That's it for today. Have a good one.